What is your darkest desire? I wanna stare at someone from across the street then disappear when a bus passes. To run away and never look back. To cut all my relationships and start a new life. I kinda wanna steal a Rup's car to open all these boxes they are delivering. Like a big mystery box opening. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another unboxing video. I don't know. I guess a ring of power would be pretty great. It'd be fun to amass an army with it. I don't know why I want to know what it feels like to be stabbed, but I want to know what it feels like to be stabbed. I would like to start out with I would never actually do this. But I really want a house. But I'm a poor person. So I concocted a plan to kill the people in a house and then show up when it's for sale. I figure a haunted house will be cheaper. If I picked a house that's too nice I may need to repeat to bring the price down. The realtor will say there have been a lot of killings here. And I'll just have a secret smile. Knowing I'll be safe. I like your ideas about how real estate works, lol. To be an ageless vampire. Really? Become a hermit witch in a cozy little cabin in the mountain. Or die in my sleep tonight. To live in a cave on the land of a rich man and be a hermit. Occasionally paraded to guests for their amusement. To walk out my front door and not stop walking. Drop my phone and just duck and go. Forrest Gump, is that you? I want to dig up bodies like Edgar Allan Poe and Picasso, just to see how they look and what they were buried with. I have this fantasy where everyone in my office kicks in 10 for the Mega Millions. Everyone except my boss, and that's all from it. That no one can stand. The next day we hit the jackpot. 500+ million gets divided up. We all quit. The business closes. My boss loses everything. And its soul has to just go look for a new job. To be kidnapped by a Mayfair leader, so he can fall in love with me, and I'll be the Mayfair queen. To get away with the perfect crime. A heist of some kind. I think I could do it with enough preparation. To know what everyone around me thinks, so I know exactly what to say to them. So this isn't necessarily dark, but it's definitely odd. I want to open a school for gold diggers. Basically take in men who have no ambitions further than marrying rich, and teach them everything that the perfect assistant wife husband of a rich man woman needs to know how to do. Things like household management, handling of appointments, memos, calls, etc. Get them work as assistant secretaries to practice, and then when they graduate and are like, finally I can go get a husband wife, I can be like, surprise, you're an extremely qualified executive assistant. Now go support yourself. Just trick people who have no ambition, confidence in their skills into becoming highly qualified professionals. Chaotic good. I'd like to know what it feels like to be hit by a lighting. But I'm also kinda scared. If I think about it too much, it will eventually find me, because both my grandpa and my mom have gone through it and survived it. So I kinda don't really want to follow the tradition, because I know it very well could happen to me. Does that make sense? Peas happened to my grandpa twice. When I was 5 I assumed it would be to defrost an entire tub of ice cream and then drink it. This is clearly too dark as I've been an adult for way too long, but never actually done it. I want to clone myself and make love to it. I wish more cities would embrace dark sky practices so that we could reduce light pollution and more people could appreciate the night sky. To be hit by a car or otherwise seriously injured enough to end up in hospital for a while. Nothing to cause long-term harm, but something that I could recover from after a few months. I just want a break from life. It's so exhausting pretending to be happy. I guess it'll also reveal the people in my life that actually care about me, and those who are lying. Edit for posterity. I know that this is a unhealthy mindset and definitely not something to aspire to do. Logically I don't want this to happen. but emotional sad brain says otherwise, hence why it's the darkest desire, lol. To be retired. I just want to not work and be able to enjoy life. Generally when I say this, people get angry and act like I'm some sort of villain. Withdrawing all my money, dyeing my hair, and buying a tiny house in the middle of nowhere along a highway in the super rural US. Work part-time at a liquor store and adopt an old dog. Spend the rest of my time playing video games. Being friendly with everyone but never forming any attachments. Move every few years to facilitate this. To be crushed by female thighs. They said darkest, not dankest. Remember that scene in Mean Girls, where Regina makes copies of the burn book, and it results in the whole school fighting all, while watching the chaos she created? I'd love just once to do that, and watch the world burn. Live in the woods. Learn how to gunsmith, and hunt for a living. The dark part is to ghost everyone I know, and never come back. Making it into history books through committing a very publicized crime. The thing that spoils that fantasy is that I don't want to serve any time in prison, let alone life. And the chances that it'd be that way are just too high. Also, I'm still young. Can make history in other, more conventional ways. I scrolled a bit and didn't see anywhere mentioned. Since it's one of the more popular dark desires, I actually desire power the most. To have enough money, to not have to submit to anyone, to be able to influence my surroundings and make an impact, and etc. If I could do anything, I think I would shrink myself to the size of a mouse. I'd leave the world of men behind me forever and live amongst the mice. And I would bring technology in and art to those uncultured swine. And I would build tiny tools for their mouse hands made from toothpicks and marshmallows. And I would be their king. Nay, their prince. Gilderoy the Mouse Prince. Ruling from my grand castle inches high. Carved from the finest cheeses. And there I would dwell with my 3 mouse wives. And my 12 mouse concubines. Oh. But the wars we'd have with the frogs. Terrible. Just terrible. Those metal mice warriors. The atrocities they've seen. Yes. That is my dream, my secret dream. Mine isn't very dark. I have 4 kids. I would simply like to play Just Dance without one of my kids trying to take a Joy-Con or inevitably deciding they need a snack right when I'm leading the dance, without having to wait until they are all asleep and I'm too tired. Not much to ask for, but it's like a forbidden pleasure when you have so many kids. LOL. For everyone in this house to turn off a light switch once in a while. Seriously. To eat a Kit Kat like it was a slice of toast. No separating the fingers or anything. Just straight through the middle. To get a tattoo. My stepmother despises tattoos. My relationship with my parents is rocky, but it's steadily improving. But my childhood prior and after meeting my stepmom has been difficult. I lost my mum to cancer. Was bullied a lot. In a sense, I felt like I was forced to grow up too fast. I feel a great dividing culture between myself and young adults my age, because I became very reclusive and lonely and anxious, and missed out on a lot of things my generation was excited about. I thought, well, if I can't be a child, I'll be an adult. But what I thought was being an adult was very romanticized in my head compared to what it's really like. I learned to fight a battle alone that nobody knew or understood, where I was simultaneously a child and an adult, but never a middle ground like a teenager. There were a few times where I wanted to just die because I felt so alone. People around me grew up, and I was left to find out what it means to grow up on my own. But in spite of a horrible situation and the great loss of what could have been, I prevailed. I'd get a unicorn reared up to fight as my tattoo, as it represents the child in me, who despite all the chances I could have taken to just end it all, survived. But it would also represent my will to keep fighting against the cruelty of fate and to use my gift of life to continue to help others. I'd probably put it on my neck or my shoulder. To buy a 1000 wheel of cheese. New curtains. I'm sick of waking up every day with the sun in my eyes. Sometimes I just want to say duck everything and become a crackhead. Life seems harder for them, but also simpler in a way. You have one focus, and that's getting high. Everything else comes second. Just want to absolutely destroy my life and say duck all. My son, and so keep me sane enough for this to just be a desire I lock up deep inside. The darkest one is the climate change. To duck things just enough to have a nice post-apocalyptic travel season and then help rebuild a nice society for the survivors. Honestly, I want to be a house husband to someone who makes a lot of money. Bonus points if they're kinda controlling. I really don't care, as long as I can cook all their meals myself. I'd ask what they want for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and if they like the way I organize, and if not, how would they want it. We'd move to wherever they need to for work, or even just because they want to live there. The only thing is they need to allow me to be very physically affectionate, like random cuddling when watching TV or just holding on to them in public. Also, while we wouldn't have daily sex, it'd have to be like often, I guess. Maybe at least twice a week. I don't know how often married people usually do it. I know it's a bit unhealthy and toxic, but that's why I don't tell people, lol. My father always said I would never be anything and constantly berated me for breathing in his direction. I always said, if I live longer than him, maybe at the funeral I would expose him in my speech, or just not go to the funeral at all. Sounds messed up, and I might delete it later because I don't want people thinking I'm hateful or something. To be Eiffel Towered by two guys would never do it, as I'm in a committed monogamous relationship. I'm usually more dominant and it'd be cool to be in a sorta submissive role. Username checks out. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.